Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles because we're going to give my first impression of Cowboy Bebop live action on Netflix. I watched the first episode and frankly that was about all I could stomach. I watched the first episode and I skipped to the very end of the last episode because I heard that Edward is in the show. And my God, Ed is cringy as hell. Like, Ed's cringy. Remember Pippi Longstocking from I think it was the 90s version, 80s, 90s version of Pippi Longstocking. Remember how cringy it was? Yeah, that's basically Ed. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later because that actually did not influence my opinion of the show. The show is not that good. It's beyond not that good. It's actually pretty awful. What I've seen of it. Now, to be fair, I went in to this thinking the worst, hoping for the best, but I'm like, I don't see how they can make Cowboy Bebop in live action. And for the first 15 or 20 minutes of the first episode, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as I was afraid it was going to be. The first 15 or 20 minutes was okay. It was like, in my opinion, it was like Tarantino if he had directed the Wachowskis' Speed Racer movie, right? Which I love the Speed Racer movie, but tonally, I think it was off. It looks like it was all filmed in a soundstage, obviously. Very bright colors, which is odd for Cowboy Bebop. And then other people were complaining that it wasn't bright enough, but I thought it just looked very well lit, and it looked like it was all filmed in front of those giant screens that they use, for Disney Plus or whatever. And then, Faye shows up. And then I'm just like, oh my God, I hate this woman. I just absolutely hate this woman. One, she's not Faye. Two, she's not even supposed to be here yet. Three, she's just absolutely awful and annoying. And I don't think I can stomach through much more. Before I get into it any further, please subscribe. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys, over 241,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We've been kind of keeping track of Cowboy Bebop, which is a disaster in the making. Live action Cowboy Bebop. You do not take one of the most well-regarded, popular anime series of all time and do a budget-cut Netflix live action version of it, unless you're Netflix, in which case you do. And it's pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be. It's so bad that even the critics can't stand for this one like I thought they were going to. It's not that great. I mean, there were bits of it that were okay. I don't think John Cho is actually that bad. I don't think the guy that plays Mustafa Shakir, is that his name? Who plays Jet, I don't think he's that bad. But my God, Faye Valentine, she's awful. She's just absolutely awful. And, it's very obvious from the first episode that there were going to be many changes to the anime. Many changes. And I know some of those changes are not going to make fans of the anime happy. Fearless? Fearless? Really? Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about it. Again, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, this one would be about a 3. I mean, there are some things they got very right. I think some of the space visuals and stuff look pretty okay. Again, I don't have much of a problem with John Cho and Mustafa Shakir. I think they're okay. Not great, but they're okay. But the whole thing feels like a fan film. It feels like, it's kind of budget cut, and it just doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't work. Nobody thought this was going to work. And then Faye shows up and it goes from, this isn't going to work, to, my God, what were they thinking? And then I get to the end with Edward. And you're not allowed to hate the kid playing Edward because apparently the kid playing Edward is, as most people thought they would be, non-binary. Didn't know this when I saw the clip. I'm just like, God, I hate this kid. This kid is like, I've never actually wish for anything bad to happen to a kid, but I'm kind of like, can a spaceship land on Ed? Since we're making so many changes already. Now, thankfully, Ed is only in the last episode for a total of like a minute. And Ed is one of those characters that you cannot take into live action very well. I didn't think it was going to work on any level. But I had no idea how cringy and how obnoxious Ed was going to be in live action. I'm literally like, if this show somehow gets a second season, they might be planning a second season already. You know, because it's a Netflix season. It was only 10 episodes. If this show gets a second season, just remember, you have to suffer through a whole lot of Ed. And this kid is just, like I said, that the closest thing I can think of is Pippi Longstocking from the 80s and 90s, which was absolute cringe. And this was worse than I could have imagined. But then again, I don't know how you're going to translate Ed into live action. But there are a lot of changes. Dumb changes to the show. South China Morning Post of all places has a roundup of the changes. And again, I've only seen the first episode. My initial reaction is not good. So there are spoilers here for the rest of the series. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching anymore because I know where it's headed. A couple of the changes. Fearless Spike. Spike, John Cho, first visits his old friend Anna, previously Annie. She calls him Fearless, to which he responds, I go by Spike Spiegel these days. Anyone who knew him back in the day also calls him by this name. Does that mean Spike's an alias? Yeah, I think it is. So we have Fearless and Vicious. Yeah, one assumes Fearless is a syndicate-adorned nickname similar to Vicious. Leaves our protagonist without a true identity. He's also missing his cybernetic left eye, which he claimed let him see the past. Jet Black's a dad. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, like, are they channeling Barrett from Final Fantasy or what's going on here? Yeah. So Jet has a dad, has a shady history with the intra-solar system police, but now he has an ex-wife and a young daughter, Kimmy, who's dragged into the action on more than one occasion, because that's what this show needs, is more kids. Holy shit. Significant addition to his personal life, which in the anime consisted of little more than an ex-girlfriend harboring one of his bounties. For Kimmy's birthday, Jet even tries to get her a certain Welsh corgi he's recently acquired. Ein Robot. One of the anime's most beloved characters, Ein is a genetically modified, highly intelligent corgi. The first crew member to join Spike and Jet in her new incarnation, Ein hails from the same lab as assassin Mad Perot and is brought on board by Jet after his failed attempt to give her to his daughter. Ein's powers aren't explained definitively, but the super smart pooch might be robotic as she can project video messages from her eyes. Julia's alive, seen only as a spectral figure who haunts Spike's memories in the original until she reappears just long enough to get herself killed. Julia is a pivotal presence throughout the new show. Her volatile marriage to Vicious is explored in depth, culminating in a critical betrayal that not only sees Julia survive by the end of the season, but exert her authority decisively over both Vicious and Spike. It's a wildly different take on the character that's sure to rile hardcore fans. Too late! Vicious in the Syndicate. Vicious is given far more screen time in Netflix's live-action version than his animated counterpart, which spotlights his increasingly unhinged behavior as he vies to take over the Syndicate. An extra layer of emotional betrayal is added with the revelation that the principal elder is really Vicious's own father. His developments arguably give more agency to the show's primary antagonist to remain somewhat enigmatic in his original incarnation. That was kind of the point. Fans are notoriously resistant to such radical change. Playful Faye. No, she's obnoxious as hell. No character is more significantly reimagined than Faye Valentine. Gone are the revealing outfits, an impossible figure, temperamental attitude, and untrustworthy behavior. Faye, as portrayed by Daniela Pineda, sports a very different wardrobe and generally more demeanor. She's a raging bitch, not in a good way. And the fact that her hair is dyed, I mean, it works in anime. I just keep thinking Faye Valentine is Twitter. She is Twitter incarnate. She gives her hot takes when nobody's asking for hot takes. She's snarky when she really needs to be listening more. And she's just generally unlikable and needs a boot to the head. Her memory loss and mountain of debt remain, but she's now a working bounty hunter and far more open to collaborating with the Bebop crew, which is especially true when Jade Harlow's no-nonsense mechanic comes on board. Edward, and I wish they could unfind Edward. Fans of the hyperactive young hacker must wait until the show's final scene to get a glimpse of Radical Edward. Crucial character in the anime, the precocious teen helps the crew on numerous occasions before becoming a full-fledged member herself, but is only mentioned once in passing before her last gasp appearance here. While clearly foreshadowing Netflix's intention to do a second season, the show's fate is now in the hands of the fans. Kill it with fire. Just fucking kill it. Pull the plug. I cannot deal with Edward for an entire season. I couldn't deal with fake Valentine. There is no way in hell I can do another season of this show with this kid as Edward. It's a fail, guys. It's a fail. It's a fail. But hey, we got Ghostbusters this weekend. That was actually pretty good. And guess what? We had lots of kids in Ghostbusters, and guess what? They weren't annoying as fuck. So there we go. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.